The humid air of the Yucatan jungle clung to Dr. Alexis Morgan's skin as she carefully brushed away centuries of dirt from the stone tablet before her. Sweat trickled down her brow, but her hands remained steady, years of field experience guiding her movements. The temple around her loomed in eerie silence, its crumbling walls adorned with faded glyphs that hinted at a civilization far more advanced than history had led them to believe. "Anything yet, Doc?" called out her assistant, Jake, from the chamber entrance. Alexis squinted at the newly revealed section of the tablet. "Nothing concrete, but these symbols, they're unlike anything I've seen in Mayan archaeology." She traced her finger along a series of intricate circles and lines. "It's almost like a circuit board." Jake chuckled nervously. "Simon, Doc, you're not going all ancient aliens on me, are you?" Alexis shot him a wry smile. "You know me better than that, Jake, but I can't ignore the evidence in front of my eyes. This is—" Her words caught in her throat as her hand brushed against a raised section of the tablet. With a low rumble, the stone slab began to sink into the floor. "Alexis," Jake shouted, rushing forward. She held up a hand, stopping him. "I'm fine, but look." As the tablet descended, a soft blue glow emanated from the opening beneath it. Alexis leaned forward, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The chamber filled with a high-pitched hum as a crystalline object rose from the hidden compartment. It was roughly the size of a softball, its faceted surface pulsating with an inner light. Alexis found herself mesmerized by its rhythmic glow, a pattern that seemed to match her own heartbeat. "My God," Jake whispered, his earlier skepticism forgotten. "What is it?" Alexis shook her head, unable to tear her eyes away from the crystal. "I don't know, but it's singing to me." She realized how crazy that sounded the moment the words left her mouth, but it was true. The crystal's hum had transformed into a melodic whisper that seemed to bypass her ears and speak directly to her mind. Suddenly, the crystal's glow intensified, and a burst of light filled the chamber. Alexis and Jake shielded their eyes, blinking away spots as the brightness faded. When they looked again, they gasped in unison. The air above the crystal was filled with shimmering points of light, forming a three-dimensional star map that slowly rotated around them. Constellations Alexis recognized mingled with unfamiliar patterns, and several points pulsed with a brighter intensity. It's our galaxy," Alexis breathed, her mind racing to comprehend what she was seeing. "But some of these stars, these systems, they're not on any chart I've ever studied." Jake circled the holographic display, his face a mixture of awe and disbelief. "How is this possible? The Mayans couldn't have." "I don't think the Mayans made this, Jake," Alexis interrupted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I think they were protecting it, hiding it." As if responding to her words, the star map zoomed in on a particular system. A planet that could only be Earth rotated slowly, surrounded by unfamiliar structures, space stations, orbital defenses. Alexis's scientific mind struggled to categorize what she was seeing. The whisper in her mind grew more insistent, and Alexis found herself reaching out towards the crystal. Jake's warning shout came too late. The moment her fingers brushed the crystal's surface, it shattered with a sound like breaking glass. But instead of shards, a swarm of microscopic particles erupted from the crystal's core. They engulfed Alexis in a glittering cloud, swirling around her body before seeping into her skin. Alexis cried out, more in surprise than pain, as a tingling sensation spread throughout her body. The star map flickered and vanished, plunging the chamber back into relative darkness. "Alexis, are you all right?" Jake rushed to her side, his hands hovering uncertainly. She blinked, trying to focus. The world around her seemed sharper somehow, colors more vibrant. And the whisper in her mind had transformed into a clear, resonant voice. I think so," Alexis said slowly. "But something's changed. I can feel it." She looked at her hands, half expecting them to look different. They appeared normal, but she could sense the nanobots coursing through her body, interfacing with her nervous system. The voice in her mind spoke again, this time with unmistakable clarity. "Greetings, Alexis Morgan. I am the Eternal Guardian, awakened from my long slumber. We have much to discuss, for the fate of humanity hangs in the balance." Alexis met Jake's concerned gaze, her mind reeling from the implications of what had just occurred. "Jake," she said, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions within her, "I think we just made first contact. And it's nothing like we ever imagined." Alexis sat on a makeshift cot in the hastily established quarantine tent outside the temple, her mind still reeling from the events of the past few hours. Jake paced nervously nearby, casting worried glances at her through his hazmat suit visor. "How are you feeling?" he asked for what seemed like the 100th time. "Physically, fine," Alexis replied, flexing her fingers. "Mentally, I'm not sure overwhelmed quite covers it." The voice of the Eternal Guardian resonated in her thoughts once more. "Your uncertainty is understandable, Alexis Morgan. The burden of knowledge I carry is not easily shouldered." Alexis took a deep breath, steeling herself. "All right," she said aloud, for Jake's benefit as much as her own. "Let's start from the beginning. You said Earth was once part of a galactic empire." "Correct," the Guardian replied, its voice calm and precise. "Earth, or Terra as it was known then, served as a forward military outpost for the human galactic confederacy. Your people once spanned thousands of star systems, shaping the very fabric of the galaxy." Jake's eyes widened as Alexis relayed this information. "But that's impossible," he protested. "We would have found evidence, ruins, something." The Guardian's response carried a tinge of what Alexis could only interpret as sadness. "The fall was swift and devastating. In the face of annihilation, your ancestors made the difficult decision to erase all traces of their advanced civilization on Earth, preserving only a select few sanctuaries like the one you discovered." Alexis frowned, her analytical mind struggling to process the implications. "Why? Why erase everything?" "To protect you," the Guardian explained. "The enemy that nearly wiped out humanity still exists. Had they found any trace of advanced technology on Earth, they would have returned to finish what they started." A chill ran down Alexis's spine. And who exactly is this enemy? The air around Alexis shimmered, and suddenly the tent was filled with a holographic projection, startling Jake. It showed a vast swarm of biomechanical entities, part organic, part machine, moving with terrifying synchronicity across the stars. "They are known as the Void Horde," the Guardian intoned. "A collective consciousness driven by a single purpose, to consume all sentient life and technology, incorporating it into their ever-growing biomass." Jake stumbled back, his face pale. "My God, it's like something out of a nightmare." Alexis stood, reaching out to touch the hologram. Her hand passed through it, but she could almost feel the malevolence radiating from the image. "How did humanity survive it all?" The Guardian's voice took on a note of pride. "Your species has always been remarkably adaptable. A small contingent managed to escape the Horde's notice by reverting to a pre-technological state. My creators placed me here, along with other Guardians across the planet, to watch over humanity's development and to reawaken your dormant potential when the time came." "And that time is now?" Alexis asked, already suspecting the answer. "I'm afraid so," the Guardian confirmed. "My awakening was triggered by the detection of Void Horde scout ships entering the outskirts of your solar system. They will soon discover that humanity has once again reached a level of technology that makes you a viable target." Jake slumped against the tent wall. "This is insane. We're talking about the end of the world here." Alexis felt a surge of determination. "No," she said firmly. "We're talking about the revival of our true heritage." "Guardian, you said something about dormant potential." "Indeed," the AI responded. "The humans of the Confederacy were far more than what you are now. Enhanced strength, regenerative abilities, heightened cognitive functions, even limited forms of telekinesis and telepathy. These traits lie dormant in your genetic code, waiting to be reactivated. Alexis's mind raced with the possibilities. And you can help us do that. It is my purpose, the Guardian affirmed. But to unlock humanity's full potential, we must locate the Forgotten Temple. It contains the technology and knowledge necessary to prepare Earth for the coming storm. Where is this temple? Jake asked, a glimmer of hope breaking through his fear. The Guardian projected a new hologram, this time of the solar system. A pulsing light appeared in the Kuiper Belt, hidden within a hollowed-out asteroid, shielded from detection. But time is of the essence. The Void Horde approaches, and humanity must be ready. Alexis squared her shoulders, a fierce determination settling over her. She met Jake's gaze, seeing her own mix of fear and resolve reflected there. "Well," she said, a hint of a smile tugging at her lips, "I guess we better start packing for a little space expedition." As the gravity of their situation settled in, Alexis couldn't help but feel a thrill of excitement beneath her apprehension. Humanity stood on the brink of rediscovering its true nature, and she was at the forefront of that awakening. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew one thing for certain. The human race was about to remind the galaxy why it had once been a force to be reckoned with. The nerve center of NASA's Johnson Space Center buzzed with frantic activity. Screens displayed a dizzying array of data, star charts, and satellite feeds. At the center of the controlled chaos stood Alexis Morgan, her eyes fixed on the largest monitor showing a blinking red dot near Neptune's orbit. "Confirm visual on the anomaly," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension coursing through her. A young technician called out, "Confirming, Dr. Morgan. Object maintains position just beyond Neptune's outer ring. It's not like anything we've ever seen." The Guardian's voice echoed in Alexis's mind. "The Void Horde scout ship. They're scanning the system." Alexis clenched her fists. It had been 3 weeks since the temple discovery, 3 weeks of frantic preparations and heated debates with government officials. Now the threat was no longer theoretical. It was right on their doorstep. "Dr. Morgan," a gruff voice called out. General Hawthorne, the military liaison, strode into the room. "The Security Council is convening in 10 minutes. They're expecting answers." Alexis nodded grimly. "Then let's give them some." As they made their way to the secure conference room, Jake fell into step beside them. "Alexis, Olympus Corp is making another push for access to the Guardian tech. They're leveraging their space fleet as bargaining chips." "Vultures," General Hawthorne spat. "As if we don't have enough problems without corporate vultures circling." Alexis shared his sentiment, but pragmatism won out. "We might need those ships, General. The Kuiper Belt is a long way off, and we're short on time." The conference room was a sea of tense faces, military brass, political leaders, and scientific experts, all gathered around a holographic display of the solar system. "Dr. Morgan," the president's voice crackled through a secure line, "give us some good news." Alexis took a deep breath. "Mr. President, members of the council, the situation is critical but not hopeless. The Void Horde scout ship has been detected, but our solar system is vast. We have a window of opportunity to act." She gestured, and the Guardian projected a detailed map of the Kuiper Belt. "Our objective is here, the Forgotten Temple. It contains the knowledge and technology we need to stand a fighting chance. And you expect us to commit our resources on the word of an alien eye?" A skeptical voice challenged. The Guardian spoke through Alexis, its tone resolute. "I understand your doubt, but consider this. The mere fact that I exist, that the technology you've already recovered exists, proves that humanity's history is far greater than you've known. The Void Horde is real, and they are coming. The temple is your only hope." A murmur ran through the assembly. The president's voice cut through the noise. "What's your plan, Dr. Morgan?" Alexis leaned forward. "We need to assemble a team, the best pilots, engineers, and scientists we have. We'll take a small, fast ship to the temple's coordinates. Meanwhile, Earth needs to prepare its defenses. Every nation, every resource must be committed to this effort." General Hawthorne stepped in. We've already begun retrofitting our satellites with the weapon designs from the Mayan temple. It's not much, but it's a start. The discussion devolved into a heated debate about resource allocation and global cooperation. Alexis felt a headache building behind her eyes. Time is not on our side, the Guardian reminded her silently. Alexis slammed her hand on the table, silencing the room. Every minute we waste arguing is a minute the Void Horde uses to advance. We need to act now. The President's voice was solemn. Dr. Morgan is right. We are facing an extinction-level threat. As of this moment, I am declaring a global state of emergency. All nations are to pool their resources. Dr. Morgan, you have full authority to assemble your team and requisition whatever you need. Relief flooded through Alexis, but it was short-lived. An aide burst into the room, face pale. Mr. President, we're detecting multiple anomalies throughout the system. More Void Horde ships are arriving. The room erupted in panic. Alexis closed her eyes, centering herself. When she opened them, her gaze was steel. This changes nothing. Our mission remains the same. Jake, start assembling the team. General, coordinate with Global Defense Forces. I want hourly updates on the Horde's movements. As the room cleared out, the Guardian spoke. The odds are stacked against us, Alexis Morgan. Alexis allowed herself a grim smile. Then it's a good thing humans have a history of beating the odds. Let's remind the galaxy why they feared us once. She strode out of the room, purpose in every step. The countdown to invasion had begun, but so too had humanity's race to reclaim its cosmic legacy. The next few days would determine the fate of not just Earth, but of human potential itself, and Alexis was determined to see that potential realized, no matter the cost. The sleek spacecraft Odyssey decelerated as it approached the asteroid belt of the outer Kuiper region. On the bridge, Alexis leaned forward, her eyes scanning the star-speckled void. Beside her, Jake fidgeted with the controls of the advanced sensor array they'd cobbled together from Guardian tech and human ingenuity. Anything yet? Alexis asked, tension evident in her voice. Jake shook his head. Nothing. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is the size of a solar system. The Guardian's voice resonated in Alexis's mind. The temple's cloaking technology was designed to withstand detection from far more advanced civilizations. Patience is required. Alexis bit back a retort. Patience was a luxury they couldn't afford. Every day brought reports of more Void Horde ships entering the system, probing Earth's hastily assembled defenses. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Jake's hands flew over the console. We've got company. Unidentified vessel approaching fast. The ship's AI, an offshoot of the Guardian's consciousness, spoke through the comm system. Vessel identified. Olympus Corp Stealth Frigate, Hermes. Alexis cursed under her breath. Hail them. A holographic screen flickered to life, revealing the sharp features of Damian Cross, CEO of Olympus Corp. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Dr. Morgan, fancy meeting you out here in the cosmic boondocks. Cut the crap. Cross. Alexis snapped. How did you find us? Cross's smile widened. Let's just say not everyone in your little Save the World club knows how to keep a secret. Now, why don't we discuss a mutually beneficial arrangement? Before Alexis could respond, the Guardian's voice thundered through the ship's speakers. Danger. Void Horde energy signature detected. The space around them shimmered, and a nightmarish ship materialized. All organic curves and pulsing vein-like conduits. Both human vessels looked like toys in comparison. Evasive maneuvers. Alexis shouted, but it was too late. A gravitational beam lanced out from the Void Horde ship, ensnaring both human vessels. As they were dragged inexorably toward the alien behemoth, Alexis felt a surge of energy from the Guardian Eye. There is no choice, it declared. Initiating emergency protocols. A blinding light engulfed the Odyssey. When Alexis could see again, she gasped. They were inside a massive cavern, dim lights flickering to life around them. The Hermes floated nearby, its crew looking as bewildered as she felt. "Welcome," the Guardian announced, "to the Forgotten Temple." As both crews disembarked, Alexis marveled at the scale of the hidden base. Massive structures loomed in the shadows, their purpose a mystery. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing the Void Horde ship outside, scanning the asteroid but unable to penetrate its defenses. Cross and his team approached, weapons drawn. "I suggest we put aside our differences," he said, eyeing the alien ship on the screens. "It seems we have a common enemy." Alexis nodded grudgingly. "Follow me. We need to reach the central chamber." As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors, they encountered a series of challenges. Ancient security systems sprang to life. Energy barriers, gravity traps, and holographic guardians that tested their problem-solving skills and teamwork. These aren't just security measures, Alexis realized as they overcame another obstacle. They're training us, preparing us for what's to come. Finally, they reached a vast circular room dominated by a pillar of swirling energy. As Alexis approached, information flooded her mind. The legacy of humanity's forgotten past. "My God," she breathed. "We were incredible." The Guardian's voice was filled with pride. "You were the guardians of the galaxy, peacekeepers and explorers. Your potential is limitless." Alexis turned to the others, her eyes shining with newfound knowledge. "We have the power to manipulate gravity, to communicate faster than light. Our minds can shape reality itself. We just need to remember how." Cross, for once, looked genuinely awed. "How do we unlock these abilities?" "Through this," Alexis gestured to the energy pillar. "It will reactivate our dormant genes, but the process is dangerous. Not everyone will survive." A tremor shook the temple. Outside, the Void Horde ship had been joined by others. Their weapons pummeled the asteroid's defenses. Jake stepped forward. "We don't have a choice. It's do or die." One by one, they stepped into the pillar of energy. Screams of pain mingled with gasps of wonder as ancient power coursed through their veins. When it was over, those who remained stood transformed, their eyes glowing with cosmic awareness. Alexis flexed her hand, watching gravitational distortions ripple through the air. She turned to the survivors, her voice resonating with newfound authority. "Now," she declared, "we remind the Void Horde why they feared us. It's time to take back our solar system." As they prepared for battle, Alexis felt the weight of human history on her shoulders. They were no longer just fighting for survival, but for the resurrection of humanity's true legacy. The war for Earth's future had begun, and she was determined to see her species rise once again to claim its place among the stars. The skies above Earth blazed with the fury of war. Void Horde ships, vast and terrifying, rained destruction upon the planet's hastily assembled defenses. Reverse-engineered energy shields flickered under the onslaught, while human fighters darted between the invaders, their weapons leaving bright scars across alien hulls. In low Earth orbit, Alexis stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, now transformed into humanity's command center. Her eyes, glowing with awakened power, took in the battle with preternatural clarity. "Status report," she ordered, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. Jake, his own latent abilities newly awakened, interfaced directly with the ship's systems. Shield integrity at 68% and falling. "We've lost Jakarta and New Delhi, but Moscow and Washington are holding, and our Cape Town base just brought their gravity lance online." As if on cue, a massive beam of distorted space-time lanced out from the African continent, shredding through a Void Horde dreadnought. The enemy vessel imploded, crushed by its own twisted mass. "Impressive," the Guardian's voice echoed in Alexis's mind. "Your species adapts remarkably fast." Alexis allowed herself a grim smile. "We've had good teachers." A priority alert flashed across the main view screen. Damien Cross's face appeared, streaked with sweat and grime. "Morgan, we've got a problem. The Horde is targeting our lunar mass driver. If it falls, we lose our main line of defense for the Eastern Hemisphere." Alexis nodded sharply. Understood. We're on our way. She turned to her crew. Jake, you have the bridge. I'm taking a strike team to reinforce the lunar position. Alexis, Jake protested. We need you here. You're our best strategist. She placed a hand on his shoulder. And for a moment, their minds linked. Jake saw the plan forming in her thoughts, complex and daring. He nodded, understanding. Alexis led her team to the Odyssey's hangar bay, where a squadron of sleek fighters waited. These weren't the clunky jets of a few weeks ago, but elegant craft melding human innovation with recovered alien tech. As they boarded, Alexis felt the familiar rush of connection as her mind interfaced with the ship's eye. They launched into the chaotic space above Earth, weaving through debris and energy blasts. Alexis's heightened senses allowed her to predict enemy movements seconds before they occurred, leading her squadron in a dance of impossible maneuvers. As they approached the moon, the scale of the assault became clear. A massive Void Horde mothership loomed over the lunar surface, its biomechanical tendrils reaching down to tear at the human fortifications. All units, form up, Alexis commanded. Prepare for gravitational slingshot maneuver. Her fighters fell into formation. With a thought, Alexis reached out, feeling the fabric of space-time around them. She twisted it, creating a localized gravity, that catapulted them towards the mothership at impossible speeds. They hit the Void Horde vessel's shields like a relativistic bullet, the kinetic energy of their impact setting off a chain reaction of explosions across its surface. Alexis's squadron broke formation, each fighter becoming a streak of light as they executed maneuvers that would have torn apart both ship and pilot mere weeks ago. On the lunar surface, the human defenders rallied at the sight of Alexis's attack. Cross's voice crackled over the comm. Whatever you did, it worked. Their attack is faltering. We're bringing the mass driver back online now. Alexis allowed herself a moment of relief, but it was short-lived. The mothership, though damaged, was far from defeated. Its surface rippled, and suddenly the space around them was filled with thousands of smaller craft, each moving with the eerie synchronicity of the Horde's hive mind. All units, brace for impact, Alexis warned. This is going to get messy. As the swarm engulfed them, Alexis felt her connection to her squad deepen. Their minds linked, forming a human hive mind to rival the Void Hordes. They moved as one, their thoughts and actions perfectly coordinated. The battle became a blur of impossible maneuvers, searing energy beams, and explosive decompression. Alexis pushed her newfound abilities to their limit, bending gravity and probability to keep her team alive. Just when it seemed they would be overwhelmed, the lunar mass driver roared to life. A stream of hyper-accelerated projectiles tore through the swarm, punching a hole straight through the mothership's core. As the massive vessel began to break apart, Alexis sensed a shift in the Horde's collective consciousness. For the first time, she felt something akin to fear emanating from the alien mind. They're retreating, she broadcast to all Earth forces. Crest the advantage. As human ships surged forward, pushing the Horde back, Alexis allowed herself a moment of hope. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. Yet with every engagement, humanity grew stronger, rediscovering the power that had once made them the guardians of the galaxy. Alexis turned her squadron back towards Earth, her mind already racing with plans for the next phase of the war. The storm had broken, but an even greater tempest lay ahead. The war room aboard the orbital station, Olympus, buzzed with activity. Holographic displays showed the ongoing battles across the solar system, a dance of light and shadow as humanity fought for its very existence. Alexis stood at the center, her eyes darting from one tactical overlay to another. Beside her, Damien Cross and General Hawthorne argued over the deployment of their limited resources. "We need to reinforce the Martian colonies," Cross insisted. "If we lose Mars, we lose our main production facilities for the new quantum weaponry." Hawthorne shook his head. "Europa is the key. If the Horde establishes a foothold there, they'll have a direct route to Earth's backdoor." "Enough," Alexis cut in, her voice carrying the weight of command. "We defend both." "Jake, status on Project Prometheus." Jake's face appeared on a nearby screen, his features haggard but determined. "We're close, Alexis. The neural network is stabilizing. Another 48 hours, and we should be able to link every awakened human mind in the system." A murmur of excitement rippled through the room. If successful, Project Prometheus would create a human hive mind to rival the Void Hordes, but with the added strength of individual creativity and willpower. Suddenly, alarms blared. A junior officer called out, "Massive Void Horde fleet incoming. They're targeting the Kuiper Belt defense line." Alexis's mind raced. The Kuiper Belt was their last line of defense before Earth. If it fell, "This is it," she declared. "The Horde is committing everything they have. It's time we do the same." She turned to Cross and Hawthorne. "Deploy all reserves. I'll lead the main assault personally." As the others rushed to carry out her orders, the Guardian's presence filled Alexis's mind. "You've come far, Alexis Morgan. But are you prepared for what comes next? To truly awaken humanity's full potential?" Alexis took a deep breath. "Whatever it takes. Show me." The world around her faded as the Guardian's knowledge flooded her consciousness. She saw the true history of humanity, not just a galactic empire, but a species that had transcended physical form, becoming beings of pure energy and thought. The Void Horde wasn't just an enemy. It was the antithesis of human evolution, seeking to drag the universe back to primal chaos. When Alexis opened her eyes, they blazed with cosmic fire. She turned to the assembled leaders, her voice resonating with newfound power. "Listen carefully. I know how we win this war." Hours later, Alexis stood on the bridge of the flagship Excalibur, leading a fleet of ships that melded organic crystal with advanced technology. Each vessel was an extension of its crew's will, thought, and action united in perfect harmony. As they approached the Kuiper Belt, the scale of the Void Horde's assault became clear. Millions of biomechanical ships swarmed through space, their hive mind a palpable force of malevolence. "All ships, assume attack formation," Alexis commanded. "Remember your training. Trust in yourselves and each other." The human fleet moved as one, executing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. Ships phased in and out of reality, striking at the Horde from impossible angles. Weapons powered by thought itself lanced out, unraveling the very fabric of the enemy vessels. But the Horde was relentless. For every ship destroyed, two more took its place. The human defenders found themselves slowly pushed back, their lines bending under the onslaught. In the thick of battle, Alexis's mind raced. The Horde's adaptability was unprecedented. Every tactic, every weapon humanity employed was quickly analyzed and countered. It was as if realization struck her like a thunderbolt. "They're learning from us," she broadcast to the fleet. "Our creativity, our individuality. They're assimilating it into their hive mind." Panic rippled through the human forces, but Alexis pressed on. "But that's their weakness. They can't handle the full spectrum of human emotion and thought. Push yourselves to the limit. Be unpredictable. Be human." Taking her own advice, Alexis reached deep within herself, tapping into the well of human experience. Love, hate, joy, sorrow, hope, and despair. She projected these feelings outward, a psychic tsunami that washed over friend and foe alike. The effect was instantaneous. Human ships moved with renewed vigor, each one becoming a unique expression of its crew's desires and fears. The Void Horde, overwhelmed by the cacophony of human consciousness, fell into disarray. As the tide of battle turned, Alexis allowed herself a moment of fierce joy. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for the right to define their own destiny among the stars. The war was far from over, but in this moment, as human ingenuity and spirit overcame impossible odds, the echo of their forgotten greatness rang out across the cosmos. The galaxy was remembering why it had once trembled at the approach of human fleets, and the Void Horde was learning, too late, the price of awakening a sleeping giant. The solar system had become a crucible of evolution, with humanity advancing at a pace that defied comprehension. Alexis stood in the newly constructed Nexus chamber on Mars, surrounded by a group of the most gifted individuals Earth had to offer. Each of them glowed with an inner light, their awakened genes manifesting in ways both beautiful and terrifying. "The Void Horde is regrouping," Jake reported, his consciousness seamlessly interfaced with the solar system's sensor network. "They're adapting to our psychic attacks, developing some kind of shielding." Alexis nodded, her mind already racing ahead. "Then we need to push further. It's time to unlock the God gene." A ripple of unease passed through the assembled group. Dr. Elena Rossi, their lead geneticist, stepped forward. "Alexis, we don't know what will happen. The simulations suggest it could rewrite our entire genetic structure. We might not even be human anymore. We stopped being just human the moment we awakened our dormant abilities," Alexis countered. "This is the next step. The Guardian has shown me glimpses of what we once were, what we could be again." The Guardian's presence filled the chamber, its voice resonating in their minds. "The choice must be yours. But know this, the Void Horde represents entropy, the unraveling of complexity. You, humanity, are the universe's answer to that chaos. Your potential is limitless." A tense silence fell over the group. Then, one by one, they nodded their assent. Alexis took a deep breath and activated the Nexus chamber. Energy surged through the room, enveloping each person in a cocoon of light. Alexis felt her body dissolving, her consciousness expanding beyond the confines of flesh. For a moment, she touched the infinite, understanding the fundamental forces of the universe as if they were extensions of her own will. When the light faded, those standing in the chamber were transformed. Their bodies shimmered with barely contained energy, reality itself bending around them. Alexis opened her eyes, seeing the world anew. She could perceive the quantum fabric of space-time, the intricate dance of subatomic particles. With a thought, she reached out and reshaped a nearby console, the metal flowing like water under her will. "My God," Elena whispered, her voice carrying harmonics that resonated through multiple dimensions. "We've become, I don't even have words for it. We've become what we were always meant to be," Alexis said, her voice calm despite the power thrumming through her. "Now, let's put it to use." As news of the transformation spread, a wave of awakening swept across human-controlled space. Those with the potential felt the call, their genes activating in response to the psychic beacon emanating from Mars. On Earth, in lunar bases, and on far-flung outposts, humans began to manifest extraordinary abilities. Telekinesis, matter manipulation, faster-than-light communication. The lines between science and what once would have been called magic blurred. Danian Cross, coordinating the defense of the Jovian moons, suddenly found himself able to process information at impossible speeds, becoming a strategic supercomputer of flesh and blood. General Hawthorne, leading a counterattack in the Orc cloud, discovered he could teleport entire squadrons across vast distances with a mere thought. The Void Horde's advance faltered as they encountered this new godlike humanity. Their hive mind, once an insurmountable advantage, now struggled to comprehend the rapidly evolving threat before them. Alexis, at the heart of this transformation, reached out with her expanded consciousness. She touched the minds of every awakened human, creating a vast psychic network that spanned the solar system. Through this connection, humanity moved as one, yet each individual retained their unique perspective and creativity. "They're retreating," Jake announced, his voice filled with awe. "The Horde is actually falling back." But Alexis sensed something deeper. As humanity's psychic presence grew, she felt a stirring in the void between stars. Ancient minds, long dormant, were awakening. The galaxy itself seemed to be responding to humanity's ascension. "This isn't just about Earth anymore," Alexis realized. "We're part of something greater, a cosmic cycle of creation and destruction. The Void Horde isn't just our enemy. They're a test, a challenge for us to overcome and grow beyond. She turned to her transformed companions, her eyes shining with the light of newborn stars. We've taken the first step, but our journey is just beginning. It's time for humanity to reclaim its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as guardians of life and complexity in the universe. As the transformed humans prepared to take the fight to the Void Horde, Alexis felt a profound sense of destiny. They had unlocked the God gene. But it was their humanity, their capacity for love, for hope, for endless innovation, that would shape the future of the cosmos. The age of ordinary humans had ended. The era of cosmic humanity had begun. The Void Horde's massive wormhole generator loomed before the assembled human fleet, a twisted amalgamation of organic and mechanical parts that pulsed with malevolent energy. It was the Horde's lifeline, their connection to distant galaxies, and the source of their seemingly endless reinforcements. Alexis stood on the bridge of the Excalibur, her form shimmering with barely contained cosmic energy. Around her, the crew operated in perfect synchronicity, their awakened minds linked in a harmonious network that spanned the solar system. All forces in position, Jake reported, his consciousness simultaneously present on every ship in the fleet. The Horde is marshalling everything they have left to defend the generator. Alexis nodded, her gaze penetrating the fabric of space-time. She could see the currents of probability, the potential futures branching out from this moment. This is it, she broadcast to all of humanity. Everything we fought for comes down to this. The battle erupted with a fury that would have been incomprehensible to their former selves. Human ships phased in and out of reality, striking from dimensional angles that defied conventional physics. Warriors wielding the fundamental forces of the universe as weapons clashed with Void Horde entities in a dance of creation and destruction. Alexis led the charge, her mind reaching out to coordinate the entire human assault. She felt the exhilaration of millions of awakened souls, their fear, determination, and hope fueling her every action. The Void Horde fought with desperate intensity, their hive mind adapting with terrifying speed. But for every countermeasure they developed, humanity's individual creativity spawned a dozen new tactics. In the heart of the conflict, Damien Cross led a strike team into the wormhole generator itself. His voice crackled over the psychic network. "We've reached the core, but this thing, it's like nothing we've ever seen. It's rewriting its own structure faster than we can analyze it." Alexis gritted her teeth, feeling the strain of maintaining the human collective consciousness. "We need to end this now. All units, initiate Operation Starfire." Across the battlefield, transformed humans began to glow with intense light. They were overclocking their newly awakened abilities, pushing themselves beyond their limits. The fabric of space-time groaned under the pressure of their combined will. As the Excalibur spearheaded the final assault on the generator, Alexis felt a familiar presence in her mind. The Guardian's voice, tinged with both pride and sadness, echoed in her thoughts. "You've exceeded all expectations, Alexis Morgan, but the price of victory may be higher than you imagine." Alexis understood. The power they were wielding was never meant for mortal minds. Even in their ascended state, channeling this much cosmic energy was pushing them to the brink. With a final surge of will, Alexis reached out to every awakened human. "Together," she cried, her voice resonating across dimensions. "Pour everything you have into one final strike." The universe itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a collective roar that shook the foundations of reality, humanity unleashed its full potential. A wave of pure creation energy cascaded through space, engulfing the wormhole generator. The massive structure shuddered, its impossibly complex systems overloading. For a moment, Alexis glimpsed the other side of the wormhole. Endless swarms of Void Horde ships waiting to pour through, before the connection collapsed in on itself. The resulting implosion created a miniature black hole, dragging the remnants of the Horde fleet into oblivion. As the gravitational anomaly stabilized, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. Alexis slumped in her command chair, her form flickering as she struggled to maintain cohesion. Around her, she felt the minds of her fellow humans, equally exhausted but alive with the triumph of victory. As the realization of their success spread, a wave of jubilation swept through the human collective. They had done it. The Void Horde was defeated, their invasion thwarted. But Alexis knew this was only the beginning. As the adrenaline of battle faded, she began to comprehend the true magnitude of humanity's transformation. They were no longer bound by the limits of their solar system. The entire galaxy, no, the universe itself, was now within their reach. "What now?" Jake asked, his voice filled with equal parts excitement and trepidation. Alexis stood, her form solidifying as she embraced her new reality. "Now," she said, her eyes gleaming with the light of distant stars, "we rebuild. We explore. We become the guardians we were always meant to be." As the human fleet regrouped, Alexis gazed out at the cosmos. The Void Horde had been a test, a crucible that forged humanity into something greater. But she knew there would be other challenges, other civilizations out there among the stars. Humanity had reclaimed its cosmic legacy, but their journey was far from over. With the dawn of this new era, Alexis felt a sense of boundless possibility. They had become more than their ancestors ever dreamed, and the universe awaited their return. The cosmic dawn had broken, and humanity would shape the light of this new day.